Ladies and gentlemen of the crypto space, we're live on Wednesday, 11:28 a.m., December 16th, and bam! You guys know what day it is. It is all-time high day. Whoa! We said it. We did it. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy at this point. To understand what's going on, we are diving into psychology. Now, as much as it's economics, and we've known the story, we know the story, what people say, what Raoul says, what so many brilliant people talk about. From an economic perspective, it really is an exercise of psychology to understand motives and incentives. And this is really why like DeFi is just a whole nother level because it's game theory. And game theory is not necessarily the exploitation of psychology, but it's the acknowledgement that people behave and respond to incentives and opportunity. And man, it's just the potential for these platforms I think are underestimated. Not just Bitcoin, there's the DeFi space as well. Anyway, let's keep diving in. Today's topic, Bitcoin all-time high, the self-fulfilling prophecy. Yes. As always, sponsored by Change Angel, the non-custodial swap exchange for social goods. Stop depositing on exchanges, not your keys, not your crypto. Non-custodial or DeFi or nothing at all. Bam! Who's in the stream? Crypto Chick is in the house. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Richard's in the house. Good morning. James, wouldn't miss today's stream. It's a historic day, locked and loaded. Damn right, boys and girls. It is overwhelmingly a historic day. There's not much else you could say about it other than one of the most interesting things you could say. There's plenty of things you could say about it. What the heck am I talking about? So here's probably the most interesting thing. If you go back on the weekly, it's a very different chart now as compared to what was going on back in 2017. It was a very different macroeconomic landscape now as compared to 2017. Even if you didn't include the virus, it's a different landscape, but the virus takes it to a whole other level. And frankly, the repercussions or the effects that the virus have caused that has revealed necessities of people, necessities of the system that Bitcoin fulfills. It is so different. And in so many regards, I think those the fractals that people talk about, back here, back in well, you can't even see it. That's how small they are in comparison to the move in 2017. And it's not even on this chart. This is Gemini. We'd have to go look on like Poloniex to really see the old stuff, or what is it? The forget the trading view data. Forget the ticker. But point being, it's uncharted territory. But this is what everyone has said every single market cycle, every single halving, everything according to Plan B and the analysis that he's done is that it's a super cycle. This occurs and it's going to be exponentially, enormously greater than the previous cycle, and all things point to that being the case. Let's zoom in. Let's just look at the play by play. Oh, it broke out of the triangle. Oh, that's nice to see. Oh, that's a nice little break. Oh, what are we at? 20,778 dollars. Wow. Wow, that's incredible to see. J Dog, Crypto Chick says setting goals for next level highs. 30K, here we come. Yeah, so we're going to see some next level highs. There's no reason we can't see 30K, then like a 15% retrace, and then 40K, and then a 15%. We're going to see some big numbers. We're going to see Bitcoin appreciate because it's appreciating. And as it appreciates more and more people will hear news, and the psychological effect will be the self-fulfilling prophecy. And, Plan B said it best. The U.S. went full Zimbabwe right as we had the halving. So we had a supply disruption, and the U.S. went full Zimbabwe. Man, he's so funny. That's got to be the funniest statement of this year's crypto events. The U.S. went full Zimbabwe just as the halving occurred. And to top it all off, man, the supply disruption is huge with PayPal and Square and Grayscale. Oh, it's just it's all being bought, ladies and gentlemen. Everything that's being sold is being bought. And that's why the price is going up. The demand exceeds the supply. J Dog says Digibyte is a sleeping megalodon. Um, I'm going to talk with Jerry Hall later this week. I'm going to get into Ripple, and I'm going to talk about the Flare network, and I'm going to talk about things that I love to talk about. But on this show, we mentioned Digibyte. I love the Digibyte. These are all highly speculative risk-on assets. We need to invest in today. What is the price action doing today? What is the asset doing today? And you need to structure your portfolios based on what is going on right now, not our hopes and our dreams and our lottery tickets and expecting our Digibyte to go to $1. If it goes to $1, that's wonderful. Is it going to $1 today? No. Is Bitcoin part of the global financial macro narrative today? Yes. Are companies placing their treasuries denominated in Bitcoin? Yes. Some of the most incredible assets are emerging in the crypto space. Obviously, Digibyte is a relatively old name. It had emerged in the crypto space, and has the potential to be an incredible component of future technological infrastructure. But its price action today does not warrant nearly the vast majority of your portfolio. In fact, it warrants basically the same thing as any other speculative asset today, about 1%. It's a bet. It's a gamble. It's not risk off. It is highly risk on. Now, bear in mind, there's people that make a fortune in risk on, so I can't argue with betting and gambling. There's people that bought, a fair amount of synthetics last year and turned $5,000 into $500,000 because that's what the asset did. So that's crazy. So Buffett says if you don't bet big, you're not going to get anywhere, so I can't argue with betting. But I also like to promote responsible trading, responsible investing, risk off. If you're going to gamble, 1% here, 1% there, baby. Juliang says, well, Juliang, what's up? What's up? Bancor got on the Coinbase listing. Woo-hoo. But yeah, Bancor's a big deal. Bancor got nailed to the upside, and also, as in typical Bancor fashion, has a great deal of liquidity. Got hit hard to the downside. This is the type of behavior we see with Ripple, XRP, because there's such liquidity, such a huge amount of assets floating around, supply-wise. So you see rips to the upside and then an immediate dip to the downside. So, 1%. And, there's no reason not to 1% XRP that has one heck of a financial a product fit. And the narrative is there, as every person who has held Ripple for 3-4 years will tell you, and I agree with them. 1%. These are the types of assets that fit 1% of your portfolio. Rook, part of the Keeper DAO. This thing has incredible potential. 1%. Iris, 1%. Band, 1%. Link, 1%. Polkadot, 1%. Synthetics, 1%. Aave, 1%. Loopring, 1%. 1%. All right, Ren. I'll give Ren that. Ren has more than 1% of my portfolio because it's not fair. Ren went like 10x on its money, and I can't sell it because they're dark nodes. So fine, Ren is not 1% of my portfolio, but for a good reason. And it's not a gamble, and I'm up like 600% on them. So can't be perfect according to your investing thesis. It can't be perfect with all of them. You could always have a little bit of a deviation, but that's the whole point. You got to invest the way your brain works. The second you step out of the way your rationale and your intuition works, you're entering an unknown and uncharted territory of uncertainty. You don't even know how you're going to respond. So that's the most important thing. You got to play by your own rules, the way your brain works. Crypto Chick loving Bancor. Bancor's a big deal. The asset obviously is highly speculative, has massive run-ups, massive dips, and you look back. I mean, this thing, I made a fair fair amount of profit at the beginning of the year. This thing pulled like a 10x. It was massive. So, but it's highly speculative. Big risk, big risk. But from a platform perspective, from a platform perspective, I think it's brilliant what they're doing. They're doing some incredible things. It's unique amongst the entire AMM space. From a platform perspective, Bancor is wow. Look at the yield. The yield is denominated in real numbers. Where does the yield come from? It comes from somewhere. It comes from the inflationary component. It comes from the impermanence protection and the insurance. That main and that's the insurance is where how the impermanence protection comes into the impermanent loss protection comes to be. So this platform is being very creative and very crafty and very innovative in the AMM space, which is a little bit crowded, and you need to stand out. Of the platforms that stand out, actually they all stand out. I mean, there's such an incredible ecosystem of platforms emerging. I look at Loopring with their L2 AMM. Oh my God, it's gasless, no gas cost. Bancor with its impermanence loss insurance and protection. Um, I mean, Curve is just the FX of the crypto space. Uniswap. Oh my God, can you imagine Uniswap in 2017? The holy grail of an asset in 2017 was the listing on a centralized exchange. Ooh, who got listed? Oh, it's going to go to the moon. Nowadays, you could just list with the click of a button. Oh my God. Stop. What's up? Stops in the house. Let the good times roll. Crypto Monk Ren is your own personal ATM. Oh my God. So everything, my entire portfolio, I only have one asset that doesn't produce yield, as I've mentioned. I mean, everything else is producing yield. DigiByte is the only thing that doesn't produce yield. But at some point, Celsius. I mean, frankly, Ren DGB is mintable right now. Obviously, the bridge is not updated, and we can't use it as collateral. But at some point, we'll be able to get yield on our DigiByte. So DigiByte is the only thing that I don't produce yield on right now. Every single other asset I have right now is producing like 5, 6%. The banks are done. The banks are done, boys and girls, as I've talked about, and I will keep talking about it. The banks do nothing for you. They take from you. And the crypto space is given back. It's fixing. It's like the universe healing itself. It's like the universe. It's like a body purging, like a foreign body. Like I don't know. You got something in your skin, and the body pushes it out. It expels it. So this is literally the financial system purging the garbage of 100 years. These banks that take from you. Just take. They don't even ask you. Most people just accept it. It is what it is. Mashinsky talks about it, how everyone's accepting of the bank's offering 0.01% like it's normal. No, it's far from normal. It's an abuse. It's an abusive relationship. Look at that rip to the upside. Damn, 20,878 for the most recent local top. Obviously, it's on the 5-min chart, but wow. Look at this chart. Look at that flag. Rip to the upside for an all-time high, and then bam, right into a flag. Short time frame flag, obviously on the 5-min, but now the flag broke out with a rip to the upside. And you can imagine what the news is. Here, check it out. Let's see what we got. Trending. Bitcoin is trending with 116,000 tweets. Coinbase is trending, probably because it's down, which is crazy. Oh, take a breather on this one. Absolutely incredible. And obviously, with the other assets, are getting hammered. Curve's getting hammered, but you got to stop looking at the price at some of these assets. And frankly, Ren getting hammered. I don't really. Bear in mind, it's actually going up in dollar-denominated value because that's how much the upward pressure is on Bitcoin right now. That even though Ren is going down in its Bitcoin valuation, the dollar price is going up. The dollar price is overwhelming its depreciation in Bitcoin denomination. But I don't give a crap about the price of Ren. What I care about is the platform functioning frankly, a systemic component of a future interoperability network. It is overwhelmingly the most logical and reasonable interoperability play in the entire crypto space. from a dark node perspective, not from a Ren perspective. So this is what I recommend. I don't recommend trading Ren. I expect this asset to depreciate. I expect it to be a particular value to accommodate the design of the platform, which is 3 times collateralization. You know, if there's $100 million in lock in total value locked, there should be $300 million for the Ren total market cap. So that's just the way the platform's designed. And if it's above that, you expect a mean regression. And the platform fees, the burn and mint fees, are designed to adjust and course correct the asset price accordingly. So I expect this to depreciate. So listen, this is the most important thing I could probably say about rent. Don't trade it. And if you can't afford a dark node, it's okay. You can't own everything you want to own, ladies and gentlemen. Please, and that's probably the most important thing. No mo FOMO. No mo FOMO. Stop. Don't FOMO. You don't have to. There's so many assets, and what matters is just restraint and control of your emotions, and you will be able to make the best decisions possible. So don't FOMO. You don't need to own this. You might want to, but you don't have to. There's plenty of other assets. And there's a lot of other learning experiences you need first before you can take a position in a relatively expensive asset like this. What are these running around at 30 grand right now? Dark nodes are 30 grand right now, boys and girls. Listen, if a dark node is 30 grand right now, which it is, I wouldn't buy it. That's just the bottom line. It's out of my price range. It's too speculative. It's not, and it could depreciate substantially. So the reason I don't care about the price in many regards is because I bought my dark nodes for 6 grand a piece, and now they're 30 grand. So I don't, it's a bit of a luxury of the position I'm in. So you don't have to buy it. You can't own everything you want. There's plenty of other assets that you could speculate in. But guess what? That's whatever you guys got to remind yourself. You shouldn't be speculating. You shouldn't be gambling. You should have the vast majority of your portfolio in Bitcoin. And you should be working to accumulate more Bitcoin. You get your paychecks and you're saving in Bitcoin and you're getting interest. And the interest is denominated in Bitcoin, which is compounding. So you're growing your wealth. And then what you do is you take your wealth and you use it to collateralize a debt position. And as I've showed you, and you can get 30% on a 4% loan, this is how you grow your wealth. So what you do, look, I'm got 4% it costs for this loan. Every couple of days I get a couple hundred curve, which I can then sell for more Bitcoin to increase my Bitcoin, to increase my principal, which I'm able to use to further collateralize more debt, to further get more yield, to further grow my principal, and in turn use it as collateral. So that's the cycle. And this is how in 20 years you actually have enough principal to produce a meaningful amount of revenue so you can actually retire and produce like 50 grand a year not working. And your money is working for you instead of you working for money. So then you can make your 50 grand a year and you work and now you're making 100 grand a year because you got 50 grand a year coming in from your money and another 50 grand coming in from work. Now you're living a little bit cushy. Now you've achieved your goal of psychological freedom, economic freedom. You're working not because you have to, but because you want to, because you want some extra cash. Pellets is in the house, always a pleasure. Frank, always a pleasure. Staff, CCC, what is this CCC you speak of, Staff? Pellets, usually all coins start to pump after Bitcoin. So yeah, so this is from 2017. In theory, we have basically what's going on right now. We have no idea what's going to play out with regard to altcoins. Altcoins, in theory, after Bitcoin rips, there's a huge amount of liquidity in the system, and almost all altcoins are denominated in Bitcoin, either by centralized exchanges or by Ethereum in the DeFi AMM protocols. So once there's a huge amount of liquidity, people are like, what am I going to do with my Bitcoin? What am I going to do with my Ethereum? Oh, I could buy stuff with Ethereum. I could buy stuff with Bitcoin. And they start buying shit. And that's basically where alt season comes from. So, it's inevitable. But if you could turn 1% of your portfolio into 10% of your portfolio and then recycle the profits into Bitcoin, man, that's a win, and that's how you do it, boys and girls, and that's how you do it. Now you're not taking too much risk, you're taking just enough risk, and you're growing your principal, and you're pursuing a rational financial strategy that's, not taking on too much risk. You're taking on too much risk. Sure, you could retire tomorrow. You could turn $1,000 into $1,000,000. Crazy gambling. The odds are not in your favor, and I prefer to stack the odds in my favor and almost assuredly guarantee my financial future to be what I want it to be. I need a camera light. That's why it gets a little fuzzy around me because there's not enough light. Anyway, Pellet says Ren USDT is still in a triangular formation. No, Ren has broken down horribly. Now, bear in mind that's Ren versus Bitcoin. Um, Ren USDT. Ew. Ren Tether. All right, fine. That is a bit triangular. Yeah, I mean, you're getting me all sidetracked. All right, fine. So there's your triangle. Who knows? Does it, who knows? 1% of your portfolio. If you're gonna bet on this, it's 1% of your portfolio. If you're gonna own a masternode, it better not be over 1% of your. Well, it better not be. You don't over leverage or don't over position yourself. If you're gonna get into a dark node, it shouldn't be 50% of all the money you have. It's too much risk. But that is a triangular formation. So, from an asset perspective, sure, this looks great. Albeit from a Bitcoin perspective. So that's what Confluence is, by the way, boys and girls. This looks great, but on Bitcoin, it looks horrible. But that means Bitcoin is out. That means the price of Ren relative to Bitcoin is underperforming. But here, this is the price of Ren as per a dollar stablecoin. A dollar stablecoin, Tether. So it means it's pretty much trending. This is an overwhelming symmetric triangle. It's trending horizontal, and that's bullish because this is a horizontal symmetrical triangle coming off bullish price action. That's up huge. So here's that. No, that's the date range. Come over here. Let's go to price range. So there's that March 14th. This is probably where I got in more or less. I mean, look at that. It's up right now, folks. Folks will complain that Ren is down. They lost a fortune in Ren, and I could sympathize and empathize with them. It's down 50% from all-time highs, but it's also up 10x from March, boys and girls. 10x from March is Ren. So Ren is up huge, massive, crazy. Stop says Chainlink. Link. I like the Bitcoin denomination. So obviously everything's going to be depreciating compared to Bitcoin right now. Um, well, that's a descending triangle if I've ever seen one. This reminds me of Ren versus Bitcoin. So Ren had that very distorted symmetrical triangle that looked more like a descending triangle. So this is very bearish relative to Bitcoin. So this is what like Raul talks about when he looks at Bitcoin versus everything: gold, equities, S&P. Oh my God, everything. It's just Bitcoin's going to eat everything. It's good. So at some point you don't even want to look at any other trade, which is what he talks about. He talks about all you need is Bitcoin. It's going to outperform everything. And look at this chart. Compared to Bitcoin, Chainlink is going to underperform. But that doesn't mean Chainlink is necessarily going to underperform like a stablecoin. So Link, USDT, Binance. So let's see how Chainlink is doing. Well, there's some patterns in there. I don't know. Bottom line for me, anything other than Bitcoin and even Ethereum. Okay, I'll give you guys this. Ethereum is now 1% of my portfolio. Ethereum has the potential to hugely, massively outperform the market and have asymmetrical price action. So this is my cash account. I have a couple here. I have a bunch in Celsius. I don't have an F2 node. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. but it's not 1% of my portfolio. What is it? It's a couple percent, 3, 4, 5%. Some folks think that Ethereum is the better bet. Um, I can't get around risk off. So even if Ethereum could potentially outperform Bitcoin, I mean, Raul says it the best. Bitcoin is the pristine collateral, which is great, and it's going to outperform the world. And if Ethereum outperforms Bitcoin, great. So 80-20. I don't have 20% of the portfolio in Ethereum. It's maybe 3, 4, 5%. But if Ethereum outperforms Bitcoin, then you don't need to have as much of it for your portfolio to be effectively structured to benefit from having it as a position. Crypto Monk says, what's crazy is ETH is down 55% from all-time high. Yeah, Ethereum just could really like outperform the entire market. But as I tell you all the time, ETHUSD on Gemini, you have to bet on what is today. So wow, this thing could just start ripping any second now. I mean, we could literally have an Ethereum breakout today. Look at this. One more rip and this gets past this candle. This thing's gonna fly today because this is local top, boys and girls. That's local top. I mean, clearly it's not all-time high, but that's a serious local top. You breach this local top right here, you're going to eight and change. Maybe you stop off at 7 and change, but that's about it. You see that? And this is where I start to throw up horizontal lines. We throw up a horizontal there. We throw up a horizontal there. So these are like pit stops along the way to all-time high. We throw up a horizontal there. Ooh, look at Ethereum go. That's nice. It's good to see. I can't argue. Getting 6, 7, 8%, whatever the hell Celsius is throwing around for Ethereum. I'm a happy guy today. Woo! Crazy that ETH isn't higher. That's right, Crypto Check. Ethereum is fuel. So what's fascinating is it's a completely different paradigm or function or use case as compared to Bitcoin. It's a big deal. It's non-trivial, and the fact that it's not outperforming. I mean, look, if you look at it compared to like the S&P, this thing's outperforming everything except Bitcoin. The only thing Ethereum is not outperforming is Bitcoin. I mean, look at this chart. This is gorgeous. This is gorgeous, boys and girls. July 20th was 240. This thing is up a couple 100%. Ooh, goodness. What an asset. All things considered, what's going on in the financial system. These boys putting through a $900 billion bailout package today. Keep your eye on the news. 900 bill. Oh, what a tragedy that they think that this is enough. They have no, I don't, I just, they have no idea what they're doing. It's like they're flailing, figure out anything even remotely reasonable. Staff says, what do you use your Celsius for other than down payments on loans? I use it for yield. I have no interest in a loan. I don't need a loan, albeit I have cheap loans. I have auto loans, 3.5% auto loans. But the problem is my auto loans have 5 years left on them. So you can get loans from Celsius for 1%. So once my auto loans have 1 year left, I'm sure I'm going to replace it with a 1% loan and probably save a couple $100. But as of right now, what do you use Celsius for? For yield. 5 Bitcoin, you're getting 6 and change percent. 2.5 Bitcoin in BlockFi, you're getting 6 and change percent. I mean, these are massive percentages that'll change your life in 20 years. The compounding is incredible. Absolutely incredible, boys and girls. Is there a place to trade it for crypto using DeFi? So DeFi, you do the same thing. DeFi, but you're getting yield on platforms like Bancor. Here, there's a lot of these new platforms like here, Stabilize.finance, all these .finance platforms. But these are the odds are these are all manipulations, or not manipulations in a bad way, but they're all products that are DeFi automation. So you might as well just use Yearn. Yearn is the predominant DeFi automator, and they're basically eating the entire DeFi automation space. They're completely eating the entire DeFi automation space. So you're going to get your yield from here. Or obviously, if you're more technically inclined, you go directly to Curve and do the play that I do, which is MakerDAO, Curve, Ape Tax, VE Curve, and you're getting like 25% on your money for a 4% loan. Paying 4%, I'm paying 4% for 29% yield. Because this thing is on average about 5% on the LP, on the liquidity that you provide. So let's check out the stats real quick. Here's the compound pool. Yeah, the compound pool on average is 5.26%. So I'm getting an increase in the DAI USDC at a rate of 5.26%, and all I have to do is pay 4% of that. But in addition, I'm incentivized to get 29% of my provided liquidity denominated in CRV emissions. So I'm literally getting 29% of my money here. That's crazy. And that comes to me in the form of Curve, which you can see here, to the tune of about 242 Curve over the last day and a half. And I could sell that and move that into Bitcoin, which I could then move into the MakerDAO vault, add to my collateral position, and mint more DAI, and add to my Curve liquidity position to get more Curve emissions. And this is how you could grow your Bitcoin. It's pretty cool. Crypto Chick, hit them likes, everybody. 11:59 a.m. I thank you all. It's December 16th, the middle of the month, Wednesday. We have 2 more streams for the week. It's always a pleasure. It's always fun. I love talking about yield. I love talking about how Bitcoin is eating the world. I love trying to figure out how the system works and how to make it work for us and how to make it work for all of you, because it's time for us to win, boys and girls. Instead of us playing by the bank's rules, the banks are done. They're done, I'm telling you. Smack those thumbs up buttons. Tell everyone to subscribe. Bring your questions tomorrow. Think about anything that's on your mind. Q&A all day. I love it. My favorite time of the day. I wish you all a good one, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.